started streaming again.
Now, will it be a new stream?
I have no idea. Let's see. Are people here?
I'm going to check.
Okay. I am back on. Now, I don't know if I'm back on a new stream or if this is the old stream. If you, Billy, you can type in the old stream. This is a new stream now.
That's what I'm checking for.
Okay. All right. For those of you that are just returning here, I'm going to go back here. I don't know what happened. The computer literally shut off. It just crashed, which has really never happened before, ever in 5 years of this, right? Okay. I'm going to go back to the secondary dominants here and say what these things are in relation to the key of C. So A major, right, would be the 6 major. Okay. B major, which is the secondary dominant, right, would be the 7 major. Obviously, C major is the same as this. D major is the major 2. And E major is the major 3. Are we working, Billy?
Yep, it's all good.
Okay, great. All right, so here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 borrowed chords. These chords can be used to modulate if you want to go into different keys, or they can be used as chords from the key of C just to add for color, right? 1, 3 major, we do this all the time. 4 major, 4 minor, or 1. Or you can go 1 to flat 7 major. You can go to 4 major. You can go to 4 minor to 5 minor to 1 major. Okay, so let me do that one again. 1 major, flat 7 major, cool sound, right? 2. This is a first inversion 4 major. This is a first inversion 4 minor. This is a root position 5 major. And you can go to the flat 5. We haven't talked about that. Okay, so what I did there, I did F sharp major, which is your tritone substitute. This is your flat 5 major. Great borrowed chord. Especially because the way that I voice let it, Billy, we cool or what? We good? Okay. The way that I voice let it there, if you go from the 5 minor and use this B flat, becomes A sharp. Okay, so it's totally natural, really. So let me add that to the progression. 1, flat 7, 4, 4 minor, 5 minor, flat 5 major, 1 major. Okay? So right here are 10 borrowed chords that you can use. These 4 are secondary dominants. This is called the tritone substitute. This is all in my book. Discount code RB122. It goes over all this kind of theory where you can use these chords to improve your songwriting, your improvising, whatever it is. This is how you do this. This is where these chords come from. Now, you can have other chords that come from other parallel minor scales. There's 2 other major parallel minor scales. One of them would be the melodic minor scale. One would be the harmonic minor scale. So if you took C melodic minor scale, wait, my 1 chord is C minor. I'm sorry, I had that little mistake there. Okay, so C melodic minor, I'm just going to put like this. C, make it a little bit smaller, minor. You have C minor, right? And one of the borrowed chords in here in the key of C melodic minor, if we just look for the chords that are different, you get the You get the E flat augmented. Some of these are not going to be really useful, some of the diminished chords, but E flat augmented is one of them. Most of the chords here that are going to be in melodic minor and harmonic minor are going to be contained in the rest of these chords between the secondary dominants. So I'm not going to talk about augmented chords. I'm not going to talk about the diminished chords because those are not really going to be used as borrowed chords typically, okay? Because a diminished chord would be something that is part of a progression that could lead to a minor chord, right? Let's say you've got A minor there. Well, if you had A minor, you can use the secondary dominant, E, and you could do a B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 to A minor, okay? This is what we call twoing the 5. But to me, these chords are not really that important for what you would need to use if you are writing songs or something. You could put a 2 minor to this. You could do A minor, G minor, F sharp, minor 7 flat 5, or this could be E minor 7 flat 5 to A7, right? To B7. This stuff starts to get confusing. I don't think it's important to know necessarily. This is kind of an extra level of complexity when what you want to be able to do is just grab the most common chords that are used in relation to the key of the tonic key, C major here. So these are simply the flat 3. Now we could say, okay, well, what are the other, what about the flat 2 major, right? Which would be D flat. So D flat major would be the flat 2 major. What about that? Well, the flat 2 major, so if you have right? Where would you find this flat 2 major? Well, you might find it, I'm not sure if I'll get demonetized, but right? So I'm trying to think of that's what way to use a flat 2 major. I altered it a little bit because it would be Radiohead actually. Everything in its right place uses that flat 2 major, flat 3 major, right? That's a great sound. Love the flat 2. I made it Lydian really. That's straight major, so 1, flat 2, flat 3, and then 4, 1, right? So that's a great use of the flat 2 and flat 3. Those would be borrowed chords, okay? So that progression, everything in its right place, C major, so it's 1, flat 2 major, flat 3 major, 4, 1. Actually a very cool melodic progression, okay? So the flat 2 major is one of them. We have flat 2, flat 3. Then you say, well, let's see. We got major 3 here, right? We have 4 major, 4 minor. We have flat 5 major. The only other one would be the flat 5 minor. That's a chord so it'd be F sharp minor. So F sharp minor. That would be your flat 5 minor. Okay? So F sharp minor, F sharp major to C, F sharp major to C. This would be F sharp minor to C. F sharp minor is really weird. I don't know, F sharp major seems to work better, right? Because you've heard it in film scores so many times. F sharp minor, really because the A is diatonic to the key of C, the note, the third of the F sharp minor, it doesn't sound, I don't feel like it moves quite as naturally as the flat 5 major Flat 5 minor is to me is not as useful of a chord, right? So we have flat 5, we have flat 6, we have natural 6, we have flat 7, we have major 7. These are all your borrowed chords right here, basically, right? Now, the other chords here are the diatonic chords. So you have your secondary dominants, you have your diatonic major chords, and then you have your parallel minor chords. These are what you use to modulate to other keys or to add interest to your chord progression so that you don't just get stuck in chord progressions like 4, 1, 5, 6 or 1, 5, 6, 4 or 6, 4, 5, 1. Those kind of progressions get very boring after a while. And that is the stuff that you want to avoid. You want to avoid getting stuck in these, what I consider really tired chord progressions. I noticed when I did my Spotify top 10 list, when I listened to the top 10, in comparison to 4 months ago, to me that there's a little bit more harmonic interest in the top 10 of Spotify pop songs, but not that much. Not that interesting still. These chords are found, if we go back to 1971, 50 years, as opposed to 2021, you will find way more of these chords. Way more of these chords. And this isn't without voice leading of things. If I have C major, C major 7, C7, F major. Right? So that's a voice leading thing where I went from 1 major to 1 major 7. Then C7 is the secondary dominant chord, so it's a 5 of 4. And then I went to the 4 minor chord back to the 1 chord. Okay, so these are the kind of progressions that you hear on songs like Something by George Harrison, right? That have much more sophisticated chord progressions that could be used in pop music still. Although those kind of voice leadings, they have a dated feel to them because of the major 7th to dominant 7th move sounds like the 60s or 70s, right? So when you start putting things like that and you're using contemporary production techniques, a lot of those things don't necessarily work as well as they would work on a piano or a guitar, okay, where you have much more natural voice leading, where the like the piano here, because of the way the right, so that the piano seems to make everything blend together nicely. If you were to go into more synthesized sounds and try to use these type of voice leadings, well, they may work actually, but this is where your creativity, people that can do this can write popular music, to me, that would speak to more people probably, especially if it's stuff that hasn't been heard in 50 years. Now is the time to be able to recycle these things and do it with modern production techniques. And you'll make your music stand out, I think, from things that are on the radio now or things that are on Spotify on the top of the charts. This is my own personal experience. But I think that if you do things that are not common, people will be like, whoa. I was, by the way, discount code Beato Book. RB122. You want to support the channel? 40% off here and 40% off my ear training course with this discount code here. So this way you can support the channel, way you can hear these kind of progressions too. Ear training course, you should be able to hear all these things and go, yeah, that's 3 major, that's 4 minor, that's 5 minor, that's flat 7 major, that's tritone, that's a flat 5 major, flat 5 minor, flat 2 major, flat 3 major. Like, you should be able to do all these things. Once you have the tonic, you should be able to boom, 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 boom. Use those intervals, recognize those interval relationships, figure out what the chord quality is, whether it's major, minor, diminished, augmented, whatever. sus4, you should be able to recognize those things and immediately know what they are. Okay, so when I did the Everything in Its Right Place, Radiohead, as soon as I heard that song the first time, when I heard it in 2000 or whenever it came out, I went to a listening party in Austin, I think it was, Austin, Texas, and there was a Radiohead listening party and they played Kid A. That was the first song that came on. And when I heard it, and I don't do this with music typically, but it was so unusual, I was like, whoa, flat 2, flat 3, well, that's great. Just immediately, I don't know why, it just clicks in. You don't have to think about it. You're not analyzing or anything, but by starting to recognize these things and figuring out so many songs and recognizing all these borrowed chords and what they sound like in relation to the tonic, your ear can just pick them up really, really quickly with a little bit of training. Okay. Anyways, so that is really this is probably, if you memorize this, what these chords are and get familiar with them, if you're writing a song, it's pretty much everything that you need to do to write a song is in this chart, okay? Even really sophisticated songs, right? I'm not talking Giant Steps, John Coltrane, but start adding sevenths on your major sevenths, dominant sevenths, sus4 chords. You can color the chords any way that you want. I mean, I can go from C major to A minor 11, right? I don't have to go right to straight A minor. I went to A minor 11. I think it's a G sus4, right? C sus2. These are the things that when you start embellishing on the chords, that's where you can make your song sound different from other people's songs. Anyways, that's today's lesson. Discount code 40% off the Beato book. That's how you support the channel. You can become a member of the Beato Club. You can buy a t-shirt. You can buy a mug. I never talk about this stuff. I never think about that. But you can follow me on Instagram at rickbeato1. I play guitar in there every day, basically. And I hope all of you would follow me on Instagram. And everybody have a great weekend this weekend. Sorry about the crash earlier. Got to figure out what that was because I have no idea what it was. You guys are awesome. Thanks. Have a great rest of the weekend. Take care.